How's the house going? Not that worth asking.
I've knocked down 3 walls and that's as far as I've got.
It's
You've
3
only
walls.
got one more to go, and you've
I
got
do
no.
it myself. One more left.
One more left. Yeah,
Then I
you're
just have the
fine.
roof to go. No, I've got the kitchen planned. I've kind of got the bathroom planned. I just need to get people in.
Fair. It's getting somewhere though.
It's still standing.
It's still standing. That's a good sign. Welcome to OverRHeads, episode 9. Today we're joined by Seeya, Jed and Phil's back. Today we are going to be talking about one thing that me, Jed and Phil play, and Seeya is planning on joining, is D&D. And so...
Dungeons and Dragons.
Dungeons and Dragons. What D&D if you're a nerd, like
Yeah.
us. But yeah, so put it to you, what do you love about Dungeons and Dragons, playing it?
Do you want to explain what it is first?
Yeah. Do you want to?
Basically, you roll dice. No, right. So, Dungeons and Dragons is a role-playing game with dice. You can use miniatures. You create your own world, and you create a story. You have your players. You have your dungeon master or your game master, who's the god of the world.
He's more than a god.
He's
everything.
He's the ultimate god.
He's multiple gods.
He's multiple gods at once. Everything he decides happens.
Yeah.
If he wants to kill the players just like that, he can. If he's had enough of a player,
Rocks
he's
fall,
gone. Yeah,
everyone dies.
stuff like that. You roll dice for certain things in the game, and there's more that we'll talk about as this episode goes on.
Collective storytelling with your friends.
Yeah, it's just a big, imaginary. It's basically, the more creative you are, the better it is. The more imaginative you are, you go absolutely wild.
Yeah.
You can think of any character. If you want to be a squirrel, you can be a squirrel.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you want to be like Kung Fu Panda, you could be a panda that fights. Yeah.
Yeah.
You can literally be anything.
Yeah, you can even have a
stick.
stick.
This is why one thing we love about it, and yeah. So I'll put it back out there. Why do you love it?
I think the reason why I like D&D so much is like what you just said. Everything's open, so whatever you can imagine is what can happen in game. So if you have an idea and it works with what the DM's doing, then it can go. So
Yeah.
it encourages a lot of like thinking outside the box kind of thinking. And team building when you're in a part group until they start arguing about...
Oh yes, the arguments can get a bit out of hand.
Oh,
Whether
yeah.
if it's over, I was there first at the treasure chest. It's like, well, no, I will decide who was there first. But
Should we go left or right?
yeah, Phil.
Right. I like all the different ways you can play it and all the different settings. It can be whatever setting you want. As you were saying, it's like it can be the current sort of era in this world setting. It can be a high magic fantasy setting.
Yeah.
It can be in any world you can think of. It can be in the D&D universe, which is bollocks.
Well, yeah, basically, yeah. You know, what I mean? A world you can think of. So you could literally, you could do a campaign set in Leicester if you want to.
You could
literally do,
which would be a really good, cool thing to do because you've got the map of Leicester already. You don't.
And because we all live here, we know
everywhere.
So I could literally say make a D&D campaign of like orcs invade Leicester, something like that. Random, but
Or aliens, make it sci-fi.
Yeah, like stuff. Yeah, it don't have to be fancy. It can be zombie. It can be aliens. It can be whatever you want it
You
to
can
be.
make it like extremely comedic or extremely serious. Horror.
The serious ones are boring though. Like, you need a bit of silliness.
Oh yeah.
So the question is, obviously we play it. Why do you want to get into it?
Well, I guess I've always wanted to. Like, you hear about it in TVs and movies and stuff, and I've never had like a proper group of friends that play it. So as soon as I found out Ash did, I decided to like reach out and.
Yeah, because you see my Instagram story, and then literally straight away was like,
yes.
"Can I join you and play D&D?" I was like, "Of course, of course." But yeah. No, it's fun, and obviously I'm trying to. I've let you pick a character, which we can also go over here. There's a bunch of characters you can pick. So you could be anything you want. As I mentioned, you could be a squirrel warrior,
make your own character.
Make your own character. Like obviously, you've picked a wood elf, and your class you've picked is a druid, which Jed knows about, so he can explain about. So.
Yeah, so basically, with all your different classes, so a druid is basically a wizard who gets all their powers from nature.
Yeah.
So they're all about nature. They tend to be hermits, so they tend to like live on their own because they don't care about so much people in a sense. They care about animals. Yeah. They have a few cool abilities like wild shape.
Yeah.
So wild shape, basically, at any point in the game, you can just go, I'm going to turn into a pug. Yeah. I can turn into a pug, and you run between the enemy's legs and just pop up behind them.
Or you could do what Jed done one time, and when I was playing, I created a whole dungeon, and I set out fire traps. So you step on the plate, fire those out. He decided to turn into a spider, crawl along the ceiling, get to the other end, disable the trap, and now I'm just sitting there like annoyed, but like clapping at the same time. I was like, okay, you're thinking outside the box here, this is fine. But then obviously other classes you got like barbarians, which is in the name, but it's a barbarian. Yeah. Wizards, warlocks, bards, which just like go around singing to everyone, and magical bards. So like when they sing, it's like magic powers. And
bards have got a bit of a reputation.
They're trying to sleep with everything.
Yeah, bards,
they're meant to be a bit of a player. So
massive players.
Yeah,
they've always played. Yeah,
so they tend to be quite funny characters when you get the right person playing on.
Yeah.
There's thieves. No, not rogues.
Rogue, which he's a rogue.
Thief is a like subcategory in the rogue.
Which tend to just steal other players that they're with, steal all their stuff. So can cause arguments in the group, which it makes it more fun for the DM.
I didn't steal anything from other players.
No, you haven't.
No, you've been quite good.
That was the other players that started stealing from each other.
Yeah,
and I had nothing to do with that.
You were sleeping. This is when there was actually a camp for the night. The one who you'd expect to steal off everyone was sleeping, and these were all like, "I'm gonna steal this, but I'm gonna steal it." I was like, you do what you want, and then when it starts to fight, I'll jump in.
Oh yeah, that's when I wandered off the mushrooms, ain't it?
Yeah. So his in my current campaign that I started last year, he's a half orc druid that is obsessed with mushrooms.
With the name Madcap.
Lovely.
So yeah, every time we have a fight, every time they've had a fight, these that are looking for treasure, he's asking me, is there any mushrooms nearby? So this is where the dice come in. He obviously picks the dice and he has to roll for investigation and stuff like that. Obviously, if he rolls low, if he rolls a nat 1, nothing. And if a nat 20, I'll be like, okay, that's a lot of mushrooms and stuff like that. So all that, the lower the number, the worse odds. The nat 1 is bad. Nat 20 is the best you can get. And so like when it comes to combats again, so you characters and stuff do a thing called an AC. So you have to roll that or
armor class.
Like armor class, and then or sometimes on your weapons you have like pluses. So say he has an armor class of like 15, but but my weapon has like a +2. So say I roll a 13, I will still get it because the +2 equals 15, and then you like go from there and stuff like that. And if you roll like nat 20s, you can have books like this, which you can add more things. So he does more like an injury. Say now your weapon is flown over there, or your hand's broken and stuff like that. And
or you stabbed yourself in the foot.
Yeah,
it's always a good one. It's always a good one.
This is where the nat 1s come in when combat. Say someone rolls a nat. Say there's 2 people in combat and an archer is trying to fire into them. They roll a nat 1. Well, they can hit their own player and stuff. This is where you get all the magic and yeah.
I bet you that's going to be a critical hit.
Yeah,
it's going to nearly kill him in one shot.
Yeah, we've had stuff like that, but yeah. So obviously characters.
So we have missed a few characters.
Well, yeah.
So you've got rogue. You've got paladin.
So many.
Paladin's basically a religious warrior.
Okay.
A cleric. A cleric is basically a priest, yeah.
Okay.
The clerics tend to be the healers of the group.
Right.
Yeah. And think Ranger, which is what's the best way to?
Just an archer. Just an archer.
They're best
Yeah.
as archers, but they can have pure melee builds.
Yeah, I always see them as like the Rangers. You get like country parks and that. Like,
Yeah.
but honestly,
That's
that's what they
yeah.
basically are. They're like, okay, yeah, we'll look after this forest. Yeah,
Well, it's actually all the classes here.
yeah. There's Blood
Hunter.
which is. Do they always have to be werewolves?
No.
No. So a Blood Hunter is
They've got loads
kind of.
different tools.
So you've got your wizards, what are pure on the magic.
Yeah.
But then, like a druid or a cleric ain't all about magic because they can do other things. So they're not so much magic.
Yeah.
So the less magic does get a bit complicated. So, but yeah, a blood hunter is basically using blood magic against people. I think that's.
Yeah.
Oh, a fighter as well, but
You can also use like homemade stuff, like homemade classes,
yeah.
homemade races. It's not restricted to Wizards of the Coast content. There's a number of
Yeah, so
independent
Wizards of the Coast is probably the people who own D&D, the actual main thing.
Yeah.
But obviously, they I can put it out there, they're a bit of cunts. They can be very greedy with money wise, stuff like that.
Don't want to mention the name too much. They might.
Oh well, they already know. They already this year they
want to get that chest.
they pissed off the whole D&D
I heard,
community.
Yeah.
So stuff like that. So there's other things like other companies that make. You can buy like stories. So they've made a story and all that, and you can buy it off them for like a couple of quid. And it's like you can make it into a one night campaign, or you can add to it and make it to a couple of nights campaign, guys, stuff like that. So.
Or you can cut and stick little bits from the books and put it into your homemade campaign, like little ideas.
Yeah, so I've gone for a full blown, made my own campaign, stole ideas from shows, other stuff like everything steals. I think. Mine was a typical. They've got to it. They had to help someone steal an artifact, and that someone turned out to actually be the bad guy, and the artifact they stole contained his true self, which is a great demon. So he smashed it. Feels a great demon. These that all get like shit.
We get shafted.
Yeah, they get battered.
We were sleeping.
6 months later, they wake up in the elf capital, and basically, war is broke out because these tries to heal. So
And you'll never guess what saved us.
Mushrooms.
Yes.
yes. So in my world, I've created a whole world, which I'll probably put a picture on this, which is that there.
Yeah.
Because as this was going on, I was still creating it. I thought, Jed's character is stuffed with mushrooms. I've got to make a whole place that's like a mushroom place. And that is where I won't say stuff about it because they ain't got to yet, but that's going to play a big part at some point, which I know he's going to be excited for.
Yeah, because each character will have... So when you create a character, you tend to make a little bit of backstory. One, it helps you like play into your character a bit more, but also helps the DM think of stuff that you can use in the campaign.
So I can add, because these, so my current party, there's six of them. These two are the only ones that have kept their backstory, and then like I already know how I'm going to add that to my story, but tangle it as well.
Yeah.
So it makes it more interesting. So they, as much as I create story, the players give me ideas to add, which is always great. It keeps it going longer and more fun.
But I also liked because you asked us to try and make our backstories like from off map.
Yeah,
so the current map is somewhere that we've travelled to after our backstory and we've grown up and stuff.
So the way I've made my map is I can add to it on the side. So to go back to these their homes, or add for future stories and stuff like that. So I've not limited it to this one space. This could go, say this campaign finishes, I could keep this world and set it, 500 years later or stuff like that, new characters that add more stuff to it. And like what I'm doing is whatever, because the thing is with D&D, whatever they do, so they could piss a village off and that could be it.
Sounds about right for these two.
Yeah.
No, we're probably
We're the good boys.
We're the good boys.
Yeah, you say that.
In there.
Yeah, they actually are good ones, but if
I may play a criminal, but I'm behaving myself.
Yeah.
it's like
I'll keep you in line.
they've done one thing
You
which
keep paying me to keep behaving.
yeah, they've done one thing which I'm not going to say what it is because they will get excited about it, and I didn't think I was going to do it, and I noted it down. I thought I could bring this back later, and this would be cool. So they've got that.
Okay.
They've just saved a village, so and then with saving a village, they've got people to join their force.
cause.
Yeah, join the course of ready for like a big assault on a big bad later on and stuff.
Like it can be quite hard on the DM at times though, because
yeah.
So
you will
much to do.
think of so many things and
Yeah.
but the thing is, Ash will create a plan for us to go one way, and he'll have that all planned out. We won't go that way. We'll go off.
This is the thing, you try and plan because it kind of tests my skill, and I love it. Since I started doing it, I absolutely love it. Like I miss playing it, but I love. As like you lot know me, I'm very creative, so I'm doing all this. But like he said, you're trying to plan for every possible scenario.
Right.
It's impossible because you never know what they're going to think of. Like the spider thing on the ceiling, and it's hard. They
We also had that
testing.
incident with the castle, which nearly cocked up a lot of stuff.
Yeah, the castle. We can go over the castle. So they had to go to a certain castle to steal plans to where.
No. This was when the castle was being invaded by the orcs.
Oh, that
And then-
castle.
And then we walked up to it and we thought, okay, this could be a big fight. Me being me, I had a spell what let me draw, write out things in the sky, and they've got a big demon lord. So my brain was like, I wonder if they're dumb enough, if I write a message to say go home, they'll go for it. And we rolled it, and it was literally like one off or not, like them just going home. I was like,
I was kind of like, I'm glad it didn't happen because I've set up this whole encounter of fight and stuff like
Breaking
this.
my game
Yeah,
again.
I remember feeling really bad. I was like, oh no, he's set up this whole battle, and I've like kind of just gone, ha, no battle.
Yeah. But I say it was one off, didn't happen. But there was the other encounter was they had to steal something from the elves to get plans to find out where the cave was to the dungeon.
Oh yeah,
That-
that mess.
Yeah, that was a right mess. So you got half the party is actually trying to do it. One member of the party has gone off to try and steal from the treasury. Is over. Then he's realised,
This is the paladin.
yeah, the paladin he can't get in without actually killing the guards and causing more trouble. The other one tried to start messing with the wolves, which
Yeah, let's not go there.
we don't ever want to get into that. But yeah, that, and then he ended up running back into the castle naked, which
And nearly got us all. Wait, he did
Yeah.
get us all arrested.
yeah, got them all arrested, and then on top of this, I had to try and think of, okay, how am I going to work with this now? I had to end the session. I was like, okay, I'm ending it here because I do not know what I'm going to think of to get you all, like to come up with a next scenario. And it gave them time to think of, okay, well, how are we going to get out of this mess now? We need to think. And next time we come, and they got out of it. It was fine. But
And we got the plans.
they got the plans. Yeah,
Yeah.
The people that actually was doing the plan, they got the plans. But
Yeah, it is too.
again, you
So-
have to roll through all the stuff, which is always fun.
So basically, what happened was, obviously, being a rogue, he can sneak around and all that. So I, being an orc and quite a big, there's a big green guy over there. Oh, he's not looking. Yeah. So as soon as I walked into this place, it was high elves, weren't it? Which high elves are known for being a bit snooty and looking down at other races like. Puh. So they're seeing me and like. So he's gone to sneak in, and I've decided to wild form into a rat. And
just
jump
beat
in
him
his
up.
pocket.
Yeah.
So if anything did kind of go tits up and he's surrounded, I could jump out and kind of go, hello, I'm here to try to help. But yeah, in the end, we managed to get the plans, and basically he ran in, got us all caught. But luckily I was still a rat, so I dragged it down into a sewer grid and basically left the thing there. We're going to say we had a plastic baggie for...
Yeah.
We don't want to go there. It's like, we had a plastic bag, surely.
But the one thing actually I haven't been over.
Magical
So
bag.
before,
magical bag, yeah.
so it's like before you started like the round, say there's combat, you have to all roll for initiative. So this is
Right.
where like the people who watch you, this is where things like this come in. So this is what I made. So it's the initiative tracker. So everyone picks up a d20 and they roll it. So the higher number goes first, and the lower number goes last, and then you put all the names in, and then that could like when that happens, people will plan out like, oh damn, the big bad's going first, like this could mess it, or the heroes are going first, and the big bad could go last,
Right.
and that could be a massive encounter to say all the heroes go first, the big bad could lose a load of health first, like the one, but if he goes first, he could wipe them all out, which I've nearly done a few times. But yeah.
But the thing with like Dungeons and Dragons, I think if you play it close, so like you take out half the party, it's a lot more exciting because you're like, oh, we only just got out of that. And when you actually die in this, the DM can actually decide if you die. So you create a new character, which can take quite a lot. Not many DMs like to do. So you have a thing called a what is it called? Total player
Kill.
TPK.
Yeah.
TPK.
So where you've like put a really strong monster in front of them and it's just killed all of them and it's gone, you're all dead. Like, make new characters and come next week.
Which is what Ash could have done.
Yeah.
But if you don't, so say you don't die straight away, you have to do like death saving throw. So when it comes to your turn, you have 3 chances and you roll. So if you fail all 3 of them, you're dead.
Okay.
But you can come back, or someone can like the health to come back and help you out and stuff like that.
That's where healers are important.
Yeah, which these lot don't have in the camp. Don't have a healer.
And we have 2 paladins.
You don't
Your
do
mushrooms
it.
don't count.
Yeah, you don't do it. This is why I said you don't have a healer.
That's where I do the most healing. I'm not even a healing class.
But
Oh no.
Oh, there's a dead dwarf with a giant spider hanging over him. I guess I can heal him, but do I want to?
But I think it makes it more fun when these are all dying, because then they think, oh shit, we've got to actually do something now, we've got to work as a team, because a lot of the times when these are playing, they'll go off and do their own thing, and then when people start to drop it, they're like, okay, we need to work as a team now, like, this is going, like, yeah.
When you've got so many different personalities doing it as well, and you have like you see a big monster at the end of a tunnel, you're like, okay, are we going to try to kill it? And you always have like 1 or 2 people are like, no, let's get out of dodge, fuck that thing. And like halfway through like the big last game we had, I think it was Ben, who was like, no, we can cave it in. And we're like, what do you mean cave it in? I'm really good with stone. I was like, okay. So you're going to cave in a whole cavern on top of this spider?
He was fair, so he was a dwarf, so he had to obviously build in the mountains. So his whole plan was to run ahead, cave it in, while everyone else is still inside, so they'll die either way. And these lot, I just like, tried to not interfere, it's like, let these lot argue it out.
So we was all fighting it basically, and he started running out.
Yeah.
And we all knew what it was doing. We was like, well, if we don't kill it, he's going to kill us. So...
And because obviously they did eventually kill your giant spider, and obviously when it finished, Ben said to me, he says, what was the scenarios of my plan? So I went ahead and said, look, depending on what you rolled, you would have caved in, the whole thing like caved in, everyone dies inside. The other one where you only cave the front in, so they could get out, or people come back and get out. Or the other one where you completely fail and nothing happens, and stuff like that.
You stub your toe.
Stub
You stub your toe for being an ass.
But, yeah, so...
One rock falls, but it lands on your toe.
Yeah. Knock yourself out. It's like it falls down, but... It's like, but we, I did a small a small, a small one-shot. So, and I tried to actually be clever than what I was and did a murder investigation. And I think these I enjoyed it, quite fun.
Yeah, it was quite good.
And so we're coming towards it. They've got like a few clues, and they're in the town centre, and they're a bit stumped what to do.
Yeah,
and
this is where I started getting annoyed.
And I'm thinking like I don't want to obviously give it away or tell them what to do. I'm dropping hints like, but you know, you found this or you found that, and they're not clicking.
Mate, we found everyone apart from the one person we're looking for.
We're done.
And then suddenly, just out of nowhere, Jed just comes up. What if I turn into a dog, go to the suspect's house, sniff his clothes, and then track him down? I was like, do you know what?
Sniff his
It's absolutely
I took
brilliant.
a good whiff of his underwear, I'll tell you that now.
That is thinking outside the box. Like, I did not think about that. So of course, he went and did that. He rolled good, and he followed the smell to the suspect, and they found out it was where he was.
Yeah. That was really sketchy going in that building. It was.
Yeah.
I went in there too.
Yeah, but I nearly got trapped in there on my own.
But
As a dog.
it's I said, this is why we love D&D. I think that hopefully when you obviously play, you can think of random stuff like that. It's like, I want to be a butterfly.
Yeah, anything. That's a great thing about D&D. Anything goes.
Yeah,
it's like as long as the DM's like, okay, yeah, that's in the realm of possibilities. Yeah, go for it. Obviously, if you turn around and say, oh yeah, I'm a wizard, so I'm just going to make a giant black hole and kill everything in the universe. DM's going to be like, no.
Yeah, there's limitations of obviously what I want and what I don't want, and these are, I'd say they go along the lines. Sometimes they can push me, and it's hard doing a party of 6.
Should we level up with it?
Yeah.
I think we're quite similar. Like some of the stories I've seen online and that are like ridiculous. Like there was a party what they managed to enslave the like captain of like these things called kobolds, were like dragon kind of people.
They're little lizards.
Yeah, and basically because they enslaved the captain of them all. Obviously they had in charge of him, and he was in charge of the rest of them. So they had like an armour. So instead of just going, oh yeah, we'll walk around with an armour, they sent them all to work in a factory. And then every single day they was making like 5,000 gold. So basically they had infinite money for the whole campaign.
Lovely.
And that's where the DM needs to step in and say, oh yeah, there was a fire.
Someone locked the door.
So, do you have any? I mean, we've been blabbering away. Do you have anything you want to say?
I feel like let's go back to fundamentals. Like, what's a campaign? And then you've mentioned one shot as well.
So a one shot is it can either be a one-off story, so it's just one night only, or you could potentially do a one shot and leave it open. So it's like a film. Okay. You could have a film and leave the ending open to where that's it, or potentially have a sequel, or just that's something like that. Okay. So one shots are fun, which obviously the one you play is going to be, I'm going to kind of set it in my world, but like 1,000 years before. Okay. So it's the potential there if you wanted to do another one, it can happen and go stuff like that, or it could just be the one off and that's it. Yeah. And that's a one shot, and obviously campaign is, I think we've done about 6 sessions now. So you do 6, and obviously you can play for a couple hours. We normally play about 3-4 hours. I do really want to do a full day one, and then some of these want to do a full day one as well. We can just like full on 8 hours or something, like get takeout, have drinks.
I mean, that's what my games used to be like. Full like 8-hour days.
And we just eat snacks.
Had to get pizza. And there was like.
I guess in a sense you could say the campaign's the main storyline, isn't it? Like, there's always a main story. Like for R1, we've unreleased this giant demon lord monster guy, and we're kind of feeling guilty about it. So now we're trying to sort it out. But obviously, it's a demon lord.
It ain't constantly just the main stuff. There is obviously side quests. Yeah. Like these, obviously, they've got to try and build an army to fight back and help certain people out or do certain stuff. And so this is where when they got rescued by the elves, I set it out where I gave them the main goal and a few side quests, and as they go along, they're going to pick up more side quests, and that's where the leveling up system comes in.
It was a bit like a multiple choice on quests you gave us. Yeah. So like we're here, and there's like 5 different quests that we can go wherever we want. But you strongly hinted that this one.
This is the time.
This one was ready.
Because this is the time when I was so busy with all the stuff, but I was trying to focus on it, and I did bits for the other stuff, but this one I did more. So I was kind of like, can you just go here first? Can you please just go here first? And then the rest, and now the rest are actually they're ready. They're ready to go. So if they want to go that way now or that way, I'm like, I've got it. You can go there now. It's fine. Because
you've got to be a little bit careful when you're playing, because obviously you start off at a low level, but you start at no level, and as you go on you get better abilities, you get more hit points, better armor, more mana. So if we decided to go straight to the main boss of the whole thing, one would probably all die.
You'd die straight away.
Would probably all die. And 2, if we did somehow pull it out of our asses and do it, the DM's probably gonna be like, "Oh, that was his brother."
Yeah.
You didn't kill the actual guy.
So it's like
You
this.
killed my son.
So there's 2 ways you can level up. So you can level up like on a video game XP, so many XP over time, which can be a pain because if you're trying to run through it and they're thinking, oh no, if we just fight everyone, kill everyone, we build us XP. So if you're putting a counter there and you want them to like walk through it, they're just going to sit there, fight everyone and just get build XP. Or you could do milestones, which I do with these. So you get to a certain chapter and do that, they'll level up. But these lot, after every single session, they're always like,
Can we level
Can we level up now? I'm like, no.
No,
It's like-
I say it when we
I've been
fight
in
a
the
boss.
chair.
Yeah.
I'm like, if we fight a big boss, mine
Mine is a big boss or a certain location, they'll get a level up.
Or we all almost die again.
Yeah.
Yeah. If
The,
it's up,
the
yeah.
experience
Can
of
we have
nearly
some more
dying.
health?
Well, this is
Please,
where
sir.
like because I'm not experienced. I make so many mistakes. Like these make mistakes, but I think that
Yeah.
adds more to it. Like sometimes I'll put 2 overpowered like bad guys in, and it nearly kills them, and I'm thinking like shit, like damn, I've ruined
An orc
everything here.
captain.
Yeah, so this is enough. Some things in the game, so certain villains are so hard when they shouldn't be, and it makes it fun, but it can be a bit crazy. Anything else?
No, it's just very overwhelming.
Yeah,
It's a lot.
yeah. You know,
It's a lot to take in.
yeah. And we don't help, but we're like blabbering away.
No.
But it don't,
Yeah.
we're getting too excited and stuff like
No,
that.
it's good. Like I love hearing the stories. Like it makes me want to play it more.
Yeah, it's for I love it. I say I loved playing it, but I prefer DMing. Like it's so much fun. But there's a bear warrior on the table here, and like I've painted that up, and like next time I do play, I am going to play as a bear warrior, and like so I'm kind of like I want to play. Yeah, because someone just DM, like just play this bear warrior, but yeah.
I don't go.
But you don't even have to use models or maps or battles.
Yeah, so
No.
yeah, you can literally this is the best thing. You don't, because we have to use models and stuff like that. You don't have to. You can literally all be in imagination. Just have dice. You can just literally have paper, like a paper, and that's your person, and stuff like that. It's all in your imagination. It's how far you want to go with it. Like I've started to make train pieces for us to make it more fun, more exciting. Like I'm obviously like. The cave you've seen,
Yeah.
I made that whole cave for cave encounters, and I think these will probably agree, it adds more to the game.
Yeah.
So you can like go up to a certain level here and jump off it and stuff like that. But,
Yeah, 'cause I think like there is a bit of a stigma with D&D where it's you've got to be in costume, you've got to do voices.
Yes, yeah.
And I think it can put a lot of people off. Like I've always been a nerd. And I've only started playing D&D in the last like 2 years, the last year, and that was all because I got put off from it because I thought you'd have to be in a costume, you'd have to do silly voices, and I was like,
yeah, I think mainstream media don't help with that. They always put it off with like nerds, geeks. They always dress up and it's like, if you want to dress up, so be it. That's fine.
Yeah,
like,
no problem.
We don't dress up. We don't really do voices. We do voices now like for a joke, like. One time I did an old lady librarian and I tried to do an old lady voice and we just kept cracking up laughing because it was just terrible. It was just terrible. But
I think it takes a lot of confidence to do voices as well, and I just don't have it.
Oh, I can't do voices. I can do like a hello stuff something like that. But if you could generally do a whole thing where everybody has to do a voice, which could be funny. But like Krista, one of our players, she's got a special arrow. So, but we've made it now. She can only fire it if she does like a whistling sound, and we all agreed to that, and that's quite fun. Little things like that, but we don't. I'm not too bothered about too extreme. Oh, you have to do voices, but I think there is touching on what Jed said. Sometimes the nerds and geeks, this could be for everything, can generally be too much. Like they sometimes they give us bad press because they are bad and they are in your faces, and you can get parties and stuff like that. I've seen videos.
I think they mean like well, and they want to encourage people to play it.
They are just having fun.
But I feel like pushing it so hard sometimes can be a bit disadvantage
Yeah.
of it.
I feel like a lot of people don't have the confidence to just have a go.
And a lot of people don't even admit to they're playing D&D.
Yeah.
So a lot of people just like,
which is wrong because they're scared to admit that this is their hobby and this is what they want to play, and they don't feel comfortable enough to say they play it, which it should be. It's fun. I think what's helped actually, I mean, D&D has obviously been around for years and years, but I think what's actually helped it and made it more mainstream is things like Stranger Things.
Yeah, I was going to mention Stranger Things
because they've from season 1 they've always played it, and every season it is mentioned and you see them playing it.
Yeah.
And I think that's helped. And then with that, obviously Amazon Prime do an animated series. Like they've got one at the moment called Vox Machina, and they're doing another one called Mighty Nine, and that's off a podcast thing called Critical Role, and they stream themselves like group, and they play it. They stream themselves doing it
every week.
Yeah, they do it every week. They've got so many episodes, and like now they get animated series based off their campaigns, which are great. Obviously, you've got the new film that's in cinemas now, which is I loved it. It's great. There is old films which don't talk about. We don't talk about them. They're very very bad, but
they didn't have enough funding. Okay.
But there's a lot to it. It's like the books, like this is just a monster book, and that's not even all the monsters. Then you got the hand player's guide and stuff
I do think we need to be a little bit careful here, because you're probably looking at them books like, oh god.
Yeah,
you don't have to read.
You don't have. These are mainly for me.
Okay.
So the monsters of the monster book is obviously got monsters and stuff like villains you can use. Then you got like the Dungeon Master's Guide. So that's like kind of for me, to give me ideas for things and stuff like that. And then you got the Player's Handbook, which is, I don't know if I've actually looked at it now. I don't know. What?
So
I probably have, but I can't remember. There's a lot going on, okay?
Right, the good thing about, so there's been lots of versions of D&D over the years.
Yeah.
So there was, I think the previous one this is 5e, so 5th edition. I think before that it was 3.5, and it has got less complicated, simplified it a lot.
Okay.
Wouldn't it have been 4?
Has it been 4?
Before 5.
Oh, was it 4 before 5?
Jed,
Wow.
Jed, how'd you count to 5?
No, I know there's a 3.5. I think 4 weren't very popular.
No, there is a 3.5.
But the good thing about this one, you actually have an app on your phone.
Okay.
Well, basically, and it works everything out for you. So getting into it at the minute is probably quite simple.
Yeah.
Because once you've got, how do I move this character? How do I attack with this character? And
how actions work.
What can I do? Which the app does tell you what you can do, as well as you can just ask the DM can I do this?
See, when obviously you play, you're gonna have us who play.
Yeah.
So we're not all gonna be like, what do we do? You can generally like, how do I do this, or what does this do? And then like these can tell you. So I think it's like if people want to play D&D, it's always good to have someone who's experienced.
Yeah.
And then they can help everyone, and you can just like grow off that.
Yeah,
Experienced.
Yeah.
Someone who's played before is like at least once.
Helps. But none of us are experienced.
Saying that, I've only I think between our campaign and the other campaign I'm in, I've only done 10 sessions. I think
that's
all
probably
together.
The same for us as well.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought you were playing for ages.
I think my campaign only lasted for like 4 sessions, and then it just fell apart because the players were dickheads.
Oh, okay. Was Ashwin?
And I didn't have enough.
He was, right?
I didn't have enough improvisational skills.
We weren't all dickheads. There was certain dickheads, but yeah, it could class. But this one, I think
it was also like an 8-player party as well.
Yeah.
So that's just
It's
too many
too much.
players.
I can remember one of my friends who were at Comic-Con with, I told him I'm going to run my own campaign. He said, how many players? And he thought I was going to say like 3. I said 6 players. He's like, 6 for your first campaign? Like, that's nuts. I'm like, yeah, it's going alright. It can be challenging, but I wouldn't do more than 6.
No.
6 is, yeah.
Yeah, because you could spend like, when you've got like 6 or 7 players and you've got a big decision to make, you've obviously got all... It helps if you have some people who go, right, okay, everyone shut up. Because you will literally have 10 minutes of people just arguing about it.
Yeah, you
where
will.
you just need to go, right, can we all just choose one thing, please?
And if you've got someone in the group as well who sometimes don't take stuff too seriously, it can cause problems.
Yeah, it can slow down the game a bit.
Yeah, and it can annoy, because there's one player in our group who's like, we love him, but sometimes he just does everyone's
I feel like you're meaner than you should be.
Yeah,
I feel bad for him sometimes. When you kill him, like, when you go to kill a monster, I'm like, there's all the rest of us killed someone else, not just him.
No,
That's the only one on the floor right now. Why are you still going after him?
Well, that's because there was one point, because like I'm not a George R.R. Martin or someone like that. There's gonna be plot holes in my story. I'm not a famous writer. I've got dyslexia. I can't even spell any words. So come on. Well, there's one bit where they're actually with the elves and I'm explaining stuff, and he's sitting there. He's caught me off mid conversation. He's like, "Well, what about this? Well, what about that?" I'm like,
"Oh yeah, trying to find flaws with your storytelling, which irritates everyone." You know,
it was like there's going to be flaws. There's going to be plot holes. Like, they're not massive plot holes. They're tiny plot holes. But he was constantly doing that. So I thought, next time we're in a big counter, I'm going to just go for him. I'm just going to go for him, and I did. Just went straight for him. And I think,
remember when you said this?
Yeah. Oh, well, you're there. Well, yeah.
No, Ash has made a good habit of killing my animals.
Because you keep on getting stupid pets like spiders and wolves.
Well, yeah, because he hasn't given me anything because he's scared to.
So this is one of Jed's. So Jed's character, he charms animals, and every single time I throw a wolf, a spider, anything,
come in, Nugget, come on, then.
Always, every single time he rolls in that 20. Every single time, and I'm like, no. Like he said to me he wants to see a bear.
Enough is enough.
I'm like, no, I'm not throwing a bear into the story because you're just going to roll in that 20 and then you're going to have a bear companion.
I'm going to hug the bear like nothing else, mate.
Like, a bear companion, yes, it'd be cool for a story, but then I'll be like, I could throw more stuff at you, but then if I kill it, it's going to be like, it's like, I don't want to kill a bear, but then I've got to kill a bear, and it just makes it
I'm just making him feel guilty. I'm on my third spider at the minute. I've got a giant spider, you know, I think this one's called Creepy the Second. He's already killed Creepy the First.
Yeah, killed 2 spiders and 2 wolves he had.
Yeah.
But
I was a bit distraught about the wolves. I was quite attached to the wolves actually.
I didn't want to kill them, but obviously I've got to be in the mindset of a bad guy.
Yeah.
You know, I've got to.
But you're also playing good guys as well. You're everyone.
Yeah. But when I'm a big giant spider or whatever, I've got to be like, oh, you know,
get away from my babies.
I was like, oh no, I like that wolf over there. It's attacking me, but I'm not going to attack it back. That's fine. No, I want to kill it.
Yeah. The problem you do have with like animals and stuff like that, obviously, they're not wearing armour. You know, if a giant, this big thing hits a little tiny wolf, it's probably dead. And I think from a DM point of view as well, if you've got a big monster in front of you and one of your characters got a familiar of like an animal, it's a lot easier just to go, I'm going to kill that, because then I'm not killing the character.
Got ya.
So it's a good way to kind of stop killing everyone.
Yeah.
I know it sounds really bad, seeing that I love animals like in real life anyway, but I'm like,
yeah, it's all a part of the game.
It's justified, you know. Because I think the first time you killed my wolf, well, the first 2 wolves I had, I think the reason why you killed them because they both jumped in front of the dwarf before you knocked the dwarf out.
I can't remember actually how I killed the wolves. I can't remember.
Why did the giant? Oh, I don't know. It was a giant monster of some kind.
Oh, it was a rock golem. It was a stone golem. So a big stone golem. Yeah.
Oh no, one got killed by the stone golem, one got killed by the giant crab guy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So they died literally.
And the dwarf didn't even care. I was like,
yeah.
It's like, you wait, mate.
Well, he obviously. This is another thing about Dean. He said his animals don't get armor. So the one remaining spider he has, next time he went to a castle, he actually went to the blacksmith, and obviously I had to do the blacksmith, and he's like, could you build armour for my spider? I'm like, yeah, I can do that. So now the spider has armour, which is obviously helps the spider out and stuff like that. But yeah.
I do find it funny how we're walking into someone's like house or something, and I'm like, yeah, the spider's just going to wait outside. The spider's not coming in; it's just going to freak everyone out.
Obviously, because I play the village guards and stuff like that, they go to a village. I can like, that's not coming in here. The big spider's not coming in this village. No.
There's me just stroking it. Oh, look at his face though. It's so fluffy.
I'm trying to.
Yeah.
Spiders are very cute. Have you ever seen a picture of them right close to the face?
Yeah.
They are cute.
Adorable.
They're very, yeah.
Fucking terrifying.
They're cute. No, I tell you what is terrifying up close: an ant.
Oh yeah.
Yes,
They're scary.
they are scary. Like you would not think it.
Have you ever seen a ladybug without its shell?
Mm.
They look horrifying. They're like, what's the best way? It's like a cockroach,
Yeah.
like a saggy cockroach.
No,
Yeah.
I've never
The
seen.
best way to describe
Yeah.
it.
No, I've never seen
Oh,
one.
no.
No, and ants are terrifying. I've seen the zoomed in picture. They are stuff of nightmares. But I think. Well, is there anything I've missed? Mechanics wise,
Not really, I don't think.
Enough for one session.
Enough for one,
There's-
yeah.
For one session,
Any
yeah.
questions?
There's so much.
oh yes,
Yeah, I'm sure there's a lot, but no, I think that covers the bare basics. I reckon.
But yeah,
Yeah.
until you start
Yeah.
playing it, we'll have to do another one when you play your first
Yeah,
one,
I
and
think
then
we
you
should
can come on.
go,
Yeah,
yeah.
you can come on and do one. You could review it. You could
Yeah.
review
I could
as a
review
new
it, yeah.
as a newer. You
Yeah.
can review doing D like.
Review.
I loved it. I absolutely hated it. Do not play D&D. Do not do it. But it's obviously I want to do.
And fuck you guys.
Fuck you. I'll never play with you again. I'm out of
Go
here.
find some new friends.
Slams the door.
Flips the table.
Don't do it. Don't play with geeks.
This
Don't
game
fall
is
for the trap. Yeah. But as I've shown you earlier, the dice,
Yes.
the pretty dice, which I've shown you
Yeah.
these ones, like
Yeah.
God.
play with the dice. Just look at them. Look at them. Yeah.
Turn into a dice goblin. Like, ooh.
Yeah, as we were saying before we started recording, we start to you spend too much on dice.
I can imagine.
And
yeah.
You get carried, start to hoard dice, get carried away.
Oh, I didn't see
I'm
that.
about to say I didn't see that one. We just both seen that. Oh my god!
So yeah,
Shiny.
it's a liquid dice.
It is beautiful.
So obviously, liquid goes around, yeah. Which I could probably bring you on nicely. Which so you just roll my dice. So that's actually one of the people I go Comic Cons with, Jim. He makes his own dice. So I brings it perfect. I can mention he does it. His company's called Squidrolls, and I'll put a link in the bio. So if anyone watching wants a dice set, check him out on Etsy. His dice are really nice, really cool. I've got a few sets now, and yeah, it would be nice. Just check them out, and if you like them, buy some.
Yeah.
But,
Don't leave D4s
Oh,
lying
oh,
around
Nazi.
on the floor.
yes. Oh yeah. So do you want to go out over the dice? Do you want to
No.
which D is which? just.
I don't.
We don't want to bore
There's
you with
loads.
the dice.
So the normal six-sided dice is
D6.
what most people think of when you say dice.
Yeah.
That's only one of them.
D6.
You get the four-sided dice, goes up to 4.
D4.
Looks like a pyramid.
That's if you step on it.
Yes. Don't step on it. It's
Then you've
horrible.
got your D8. It's a bit like a diamond-ish.
Yeah, give you a diamond on that.
There's 2 kinds of D10s. You got your single numbers and your multiples of 10. You roll them together for a percentile. And then your D12, obviously, 12 sides. And then the one that you use most of the time in D&D is your D20.
The main reason why they use D20s, I think, in D&D is because if you use something like a D6, there's only 6 outcomes.
Right.
So where if you roll in a D20, then
More possibilities.
you've got more
yeah.
possibilities. I've just rolled a 2, so that's not the worst, but I'll probably still hurt myself.
It's not the worst.
It's not the
Well,
worst.
it's not the worst. Yeah, it's not the worst. The one's the worst.
But then you have your stats that give you bonuses or negatives to whatever you roll.
Yeah, this is when you do play, you'll see like. Well, I won't go on that, but you'll see, you'll look at it, you'll be like, "What's all this? What's all this writing? What's all yeah?" But I do want to do one thing. Obviously, I use when playing a studio called Loot Studio, which is a printing company. They every month they release a bundle, and you get stuff like that. For £16 a month, you get a whole bundle of models you can print off, which you can use in your campaign and stuff like that. So shout out Loot Studios. Like if you got a 3D printer, definitely check them out. They're really cool. And you don't just do models. With the models, the bundles, they do stats for the other stuff. So it's a great stuff. This is another thing. Every time people, you won't hear this on podcasts, but obviously people watch. Every time people play D&D, the players always have to make a dice tower out of dice. You will not have one session where someone
doesn't.
Yeah, someone does it, and you I'm always watching, and I feel like just going whack.
Yeah.
I think at our first session you did say like whoever builds a dice tower and it falls down has to take a shot.
Yeah, that's the rule I made. So it kind of stops them doing it, which is if you want to do it, but yeah,
like there is a reason why people do it, because when you're playing D&D, because especially when there's a lot of you, I'm not doing this to put anyone off. You have got quite a bit of time. Like your go will be first, and then you got to wait for another 8 people to go.
Yeah.
But most of the time when that's happening, if you're not doing that, you could probably be thinking, okay, what can I do for my next turn?
But this is where the snacks come in.
Yes.
Eat your snacks.
Yeah, there's always a good few
Eat
snacks.
snacks, read your rules so you know what you're going to do when it's your turn.
Yeah, I think one of my pet hates when it comes... I don't mind people going, oh yeah, I don't know the rule. But when they've been playing for a while and they turn around like, oh, how do I shoot an arrow? You go, what?
It's like, it's simple.
You're like, okay, I understand if, can I shoot an arrow into that wall to make that thing cracked? That I can understand. But if they're like, oh yeah, I don't know which one to shoot, and they go, which one should I shoot? And you go, it's been like 10 minutes till you could have done this.
Yeah.
You could have been thinking about this. But yeah, that's just one of my pet hates.
Yeah, no, there is.
It turns into you'll go, I'm gonna fuck that guy. I've been thinking about this.
I'm gonna jump off this balcony and elbow drop this guy right on the fucking noggin. Well, that time when we was fighting that giant spider, I was like, alright, I've got to distract it before it kills anyone. So what did I say? Come on, you big bitch! Come on! Like, come get some! And funny enough, it worked. He's like, yeah, I'm going to kill you then. I was like, fine, kill me.
Do I want to play with these two? Do I need to find new friends?
I'm very well behaved.
I don't know. Maybe these two might not be. No, you'll be fine. You'll love it. Hopefully, you love it.
I'm quite caring in the campaign. Thank you very much.
Yeah, it's actually good. Yeah,
I'll let you ride my spider.
Oh yeah.
Okay, yeah. Do you want to find someone else to play? It might be better. But no, I think we'll end it there.
Yeah.
I think it's been. I've enjoyed this one. Hopefully, we've not been too much for you.
No, it's been good.
But it's been nice to have someone who's never played but wants to play, so we can talk about it more and stuff like that. But yeah, it's been fun, and cheers for listening. Cheers for watching. See you next time.